Jeffrey Wilcox joins us as President and Chief Advancement Officer with Third Sector Company. So, Jeffrey, you have really championed the concept of interim leadership across the nation. We want to really drill down on why nonprofits should consider interim leadership and even understand the concept, because I'll be the first to witness to you. I've been on boards where we had a crisis of leadership or we forced a crisis of leadership and none of us knew about interim leadership. Big mistake, big mistake. So I'm really excited to see how you can help us understand what this looks like.
I'm thrilled to do it, Julia. This is my favorite subject.
Well, let's dig in and let's even just start out with what is an interim leader?
Well, I need to start a little bit with what brought me to this place. Most of my career was spent as a funder. I had a 2-decade career with the United Way. I was the Senior Vice President of the United Way in Los Angeles, and before that, Senior Vice President of the United Way in Phoenix, Arizona. And what I saw from a very unique vantage point was what happened to organizations during their transitions. And what was interesting to me is many not-for-profits were very intent about their fiscal responsibility and looking at their financial assets. But Julia, what seemed to be missing the mark here was the human assets that made these organizations great. And for a lot of nonprofits, it was the human capital that opened their door, not financial capital. And so I learned as a funder that there were some things that money can't buy. And that is great leadership and devotion to mission statements and fired up talent that wants to change the world. You don't measure that in dollars and cents. What you do is you measure that in community equity. And so when I was looking at the next chapter of my life, I realized I wanted to take everything I had learned at the United Way and apply what we had learned to pennies and apply that to people. How do you create an arsenal of human talent to help organizations at their neediest hour? And from my standpoint, Julia, that neediest hour was when an executive was retiring, when a leader had an unfortunate situation, and you had a flock of employees and volunteers who wanted to serve their community. And they needed help to do that. It wasn't going to come from a check. It was going to come from a hand, a heart, experience, and a steady desire to be there. And that was how almost 20 years ago, I wanted to create a national movement for what interim leadership could do for the not-for-profits of our country.